Good Thursday afternoon, friends. How are you? Hope you're well. Come on in. Pull up a seat. Let's cook lunch. Now, I've been wanting to cook this recipe, but I thought it would be a perfect day because Mason, two of his friends are here, Josh and Anthony. And I thought this would be the perfect lunch, for a group. Well, they texted me and said, Mom, we want pizza. So I was like, I'm cooking lunch, a fabulous lunch, or like, we still want pizza. So I was like, okay, they'll probably honestly eat this too. Anyway, so I guess I didn't share this with you. A couple weeks ago, my son decided to go get beagle pups at the pound and did not tell me till they were home and here because he knew once I saw cute little pups, I wasn't going to say anything. I still wasn't happy that he didn't tell me. But they're cute. They're about a year old. They're outside in the kennel, and he's been training them and working with them. So today, his two friends, Josh and Anthony, went with them to run the dogs, and they wanted pizza. So I'm still going to make this fabulous lunch because Brock and I have to eat, and I'm not eating pizza, okay? After 17 years, occasionally I want a pizza, but not very often. The boys can eat it every day, and they're happy to it. Okay, so what we're going to have today is I found this recipe for this creamy chicken and noodles, and they look so good. So I thought, I got to make that today. Because if you were with me yesterday, you know I made those chicken legs, and I made extra. I had the perfect amount left over for today's recipe. So first we're going to do some green beans. This is going to be our vegetable. These are green beans that I canned this summer. Any green bean, any vegetable you want. I'm just giving you something to... something different to try, a menu to put together. If you're having a hard time coming up with something to cook, because even I do sometimes, I don't know what I want. So when I do my green beans, I leave the liquid in, because that's where that good juice is. And about a teaspoon or tablespoon of bacon grease. Now this is how I do my green beans. Y'all know where I'm from, and y'all know I live by the bacon grease. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. I don't put any salt or butter in yet. Now I'm going to put these on the stove. And I'm going to put them on 7 because I like my green beans cooked down. Not mushy, but cooked down. So I'm going to let those come to a boil. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with those afterwards. So I'm going to just get this out of the way. Now I'm going to clean up real quick and then I'll be right back because we're going to move on to our chicken noodle recipe. Okay, now it's time to prepare those creamy noodles. So the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to put this in our saucepan because everything's going to cook in one pot, okay? So we're going to get that on the stove. We're going to get that butter melted, and then we're going to add half a chopped onion of your choice. I like Vidalia, So that's what I've got here, and I'm going to let that butter melt. I'm going to get these in. I'm going to let them cook till they're translucent. And then I'm going to add probably a tablespoon of chopped garlic. And then we'll be right back once we get to that stage. Here we have our half an onion sauteed in that, 2 tablespoons of butter, and about a tablespoon, I use minced garlic. So you can use what you like. For the rest of the recipe, you're going to need 2 cups of chicken stock. Now this was left over from those chicken legs last night. I had the exact amount I needed, 2 cups exactly. And to that, you're going to add a half a cup of heavy cream and 1 cup can of cream of mushroom soup. Now, you don't like cream of mushroom? Use cream of chicken because you're making chicken noodles. I'm sure that'd be fine. But the recipe called for cream of mushroom, so that's what I'm going to go with. Get all that out. I'm going to give this a few minutes on the stove to blend together. You're also going to need 2 cups of chicken. Now, I'm going to put this back on the stove really quickly. Let all that get going together. Get that chicken broth heated back up and everything married together. So, I've got 2 cups of chicken. Now, this is left over from those legs I cooked yesterday, if you were with me. So, rotisserie chicken, couple breasts, whatever. Just need 2 cups. And then you're going to need 3 cups of wide egg noodles, okay? So, we're going to give this a moment to get together. And then I'll put in my chicken. And once that comes to a boil, we'll put in the noodles. And I'll be right back to show you all that. So all that soup and broth have married together, and all those chunky bits are out. I'm going to add some black pepper. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I can add more in just because the broth was a little salty. And then you have the soup. Let me grab my spoon here. I'm going to add in this 2 cups of chicken. Now I'm going to get this mixture back on the stove and bring it to a boil. Boil. So my green beans have come to a rapid boil now, and they've cooked down some, not quite enough. So I added some salt and pepper and a tablespoon of butter to those. We're waiting on this broth to boil. And while I'm waiting for it to boil, listen, y'all. I'm going to take a little shortcut today, and I'm going to cook these Bob Evans mashed potatoes. I love these. Have you ever had these? Okay, so the first time I ever had a mashed potato that wasn't, like an instant out of a box. We were on vacation in northern Michigan, and we always stopped at this little grocery store in Onaway and got groceries before we went to our lake cabin. And they actually had mashed potatoes in a bag, and they were like Yoder brand, and I was like, what is that? And I had to buy them, and they were delicious. And that was before we even had anything like this. This was years ago, before we even had animals. Probably 10, 11 years ago. I have to ask Brock. But they were delicious. I was like, oh, I wish we had these at home. I would never make mashed potatoes again. That's how good they were. So anyway, I do enjoy these, and I'll pick these up when they're on sale. It's a nice shortcut to have. And during my days when I dieted constantly, it was nice because I could measure out a half a cup, and I knew they were 150 calories for a half a cup of mashed potatoes. So there you go. Anyway, we're waiting on this to boil. Looks like it's coming to a boil. So now we're going to dump in our I'm a little off. Looks like about 3.5 cups of my white egg noodles. Okay. Get those all in there. And we're going to let this go for about 10 minutes until they're done. You don't want them too soggy. Now, while the noodles are cooking, I will cook our mashed potatoes in the microwave. Oh, it's all coming together, friends. And we'll be right back. Friends, lunch is ready. So this was a 12-ounce bag that I had bought, and I used about half, so I measured out to 3 cups. This is not a soupy noodle. This is a noodle that absorbs all of that delicious broth and goodness. So if you want to make a bigger batch, then double the broth. Don't just go willy-nilly and throw in extra noodles, or you're going to run into some trouble. Now, I turned mine down to about 4, set the timer for 10 minutes. They were actually done in 8. And I want you to see these, friends. Oh, I forgot a fork. So I got my green beans on there. I want you to see these noodles. They look amazing. Look at that, friends. We're going to dish some up and see how they taste. They look really good. They're really hot. I want you to be able to see those. Look at that. Now, this made quite a bit. Of course, the boys aren't eating, so I'm going to have plenty of leftovers. This made a huge pan. But if you're feeding a larger crowd, double it. But double your broth, double everything. Okay, here are this. Look at this. Look, put those mashed potatoes in a pretty little bowl. Nobody gonna know them's Bob Evans. And who cares? They're delicious, y'all. Put a little butter on top, a little pepper. Looked like you've been in there slaving all day on them taters. All right, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna try this. This chicken recipe, chicken noodle, 1 pot creamy chicken noodles. They're hot. Those are amazing. A lot of times when you cook an egg noodle, you know, they're kind of bland. Oh, friends. I cannot wait for Brock to try these. This would be a good way to cook his homemade noodles too. Oh, these are fabulous. You've got to try this, honestly. Try it. It's very economical. I mean, the noodles are inexpensive, the soups, heavy cream's probably the most expensive thing, but I don't know, maybe you could use milk. I don't know, I wouldn't trust it. Anyway, there's lunch. I'm gonna go. I hope you have a great day. Alicia, I'm gonna have a applesauce with it. As always, thanks for stopping by. I love hanging out with you all. Hope you enjoyed today's lunch. Give it a try. You're not gonna be disappointed. Bye, friends.